Hi, welcome to another episode of Unbelievable Property Podcast. So, these few episodes that you're going to hear coming out are going to be a bit different to the different conversational ones that we've had. So, usually we have guests on and do interviews, but decided to do another mini series. So, you would have heard Heidi's mini series on, property strategies and leaving your job, etc. But I'm going to do a bit of a mini series on sales and what is sales, why is it important in your business, and why is sales important, especially in property. Um, I said this is something that you can use in your day-to-day life. But the reason I'm going to do a mini series on sales is due to the fact that I've worked in sales for almost a decade now, just shy of coming up to 10 years, and have had many successes in the roles that I've been in. So I just want to share with you some of my experiences and my tips and tricks on how you can elevate your success or elevate your sales within your business to be able to maximize your results. So what I'll do is I'll kick this off, and like I said, tune in for the next few episodes going to be focused around sales.
Unbelievable! Are you looking for a no-nonsense property and business podcast? Our mission is to provide jam-packed content straight to your ears, where we can add value and unpick the fluff in the industry. If this sounds like a bit of you, then strap in and hold tight for an episode with Heidi and Dan.
So before I actually get into the episodes and talk about the modules, let's say, or the specific points, I'll just give a bit of a background in terms of my sales experience. So, like I said, I've got almost 10 years worth of sales experience in business to business and business to consumer. And I've won various different awards in different sales-based roles. So I've won some over here in the UK and I've won some over in Australia. Within 8 weeks, I was Australasia Sales Colleague of the Month for a company called Fleetcor, fuel card company. And I've got experience in cold calling, account management, contract negotiation, sales in property as well, and selling products and services. So all different types of end users, different sectors. And I've worked for SMEs, family-run businesses, all the way up to the multi-billion pound FTSE 100 organizations as well. So in terms of the experience, I've been able to work for loads of different organizations, identify opportunities where the gaps are, implement a strategy, and execute that strategy in order to grow the sales portfolio. And I've done that, like I said, at various different organizations. The benefit of working for organizations as well is they do invest in you. So they will invest into different training courses. And I've done various different training courses by CEB. So on challenger sales methodology, bin selling, utilizing something called MedPick. I've also gone through different sales and commercial trainings with more local independent people. So that's a bit about me. Enough about me. You probably don't want to hear too much more. So in terms of the objectives, or why am I going to do this? Why am I doing this? And it's purely because, like I said, without sales, the world won't go round. Your business won't be able to operate. You need sales in order to pay your staff, pay your overheads, pay yourself as well. That's quite important. But it's all too common in businesses or in whether it's business or day-to-day life that you may be great at marketing. You may be able to get lots of leads in, but it's what you do with these leads and how you convert these leads. So taking your conversion rate from X percent, 10, 20, 30 up to 50, 60, 70 to make sure that you're maximizing the return on investment, but as well as ensuring that you are being able to close every single sale that you can. And with sales, it's not always, it's sometimes a timing thing. Somebody may not be ready now. So it's always worth qualifying in and also qualifying out, but also having the follow up, the follow back, and the follow through to make sure that you are keeping in touch with these people. So when that time does strike, that person needs your product or your service, you're at the forefront and that you're ready, they are ready to buy from you. So, like I said, this is going to be a brief overview, but there's a lot more support that I can give you as a business owner, or if you've got a small sales team, on how to do cold calling, account management strategies, implementation, growing the revenue, etc. But the objectives really around this is to identify what are your key goals and objectives as a business owner. What are you trying to achieve? How are you trying to get there? If you don't know how you're getting there, or you don't know where you're going, how are you going to achieve your goals if you don't know where you're trying to go? Build a winning mindset and increase your sales revenue. Obviously, we want to increase the sales revenue, but revenue is vanity, profit is sanity. So it's also important to ensure that your bottom line is healthy as well. So everyone uses the word sales, and I think there's a misconception around salespeople. The sales consultants, account managers, business development managers. But the terminology sales for me is something that people tend to think of as sleazy, fucking car salesman or dodgy car salesman or this person. But when you strip it all back, a salesperson is a problem solver. It is someone who identifies opportunities or gaps in the market, whether you're a solopreneur, entrepreneur, or working for an organization, and you're solving somebody's problem. And you're solving that problem. First, you have to identify it, and understand how you can make sure that they use emotion but justify logically of why they want to utilize your service or your product. So, like I said, a lot of people, think of people who work in sales as, dodgy or sleazy. That is a misconception. That's probably a bit too much of a stereotype. But sales as a profession, if you do it correctly, you can earn a significant amount of money. You'll grow your business and you solve problems for people. And I think that's really, really important. If you do sales ethically, you can go really, really far whilst helping people out achieving what they want to achieve. So, what is sales then? I guess, sales are the activities that you're involved in when selling a product, commodity, or service in the exchange for money. So, if you sell iPhones, if you're Apple, you sell iPhones, MacBooks, you're selling that product and in exchange for money. But there's also services. So if you're a coach, a life coach, consultant, you're selling your service to somebody in exchange for money. So yeah, primarily products or services. And the reason sales is so important is the fact that it's a primary source of income for businesses to increase their revenue, and to be able to reinvest and scale. If you're not having money coming in, how are you going to put anything in the money and into your business, and grow the revenue? One thing that I'm going to talk on this episode is, about having a sales orientated mindset or a sales mindset. So I'm going to give you 10 key points here today. And of these 10 key points, I'll talk a bit about them in slight bit of a description. But each one of these points, it will boil down, and you can go into far, far more pieces of information. But the reason I'm starting on sales mindset is because if you don't have a sales mindset, you don't have a winning mindset, how are you going to be able to go out there and sell to people if you don't think you can do it? Take away the word as well, sell to somebody. Let's not look at it like that. I am going to go and solve somebody's problem. I just need to find what that problem is. That's how I look at it. On my day-to-day is I'll go to a customer and say, okay, this is the status quo. This is where we are. This is where you want to be. How can I help you get there? And if I can't, I'll be honest, say maybe not today. We cannot do the business together. However, if things change in the future, this is how we can work together or put them in the right direction. So, number one, having a customer-centric approach. Obviously, that's a key point, having a customer-centric approach. The customer, they are your customer. So you need to be able to understand what your customer needs, focus on what their wants and needs are, identify the issues and fill that gap, be able to plug that gap and bring them a solution. And we'll talk about solution selling and features and benefits, etc. at a later date or maybe on another episode. But this is just talking about what your mindset should be like. One of my favorite is persistence and resilience. So one of my previous managers, they said to me, sales always starts when you hear no. Because if somebody says yes straight away, you're not selling to them, are they? So you need to be persistent within reason. I think they say on average it takes about 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 contacts or 7 contacts for somebody to buy from you. You think how many times you'll need to speak to somebody to build that rapport, continue the conversation, identify where the opportunities are, what challenges that they're having, catching them on the right time. You're going to have multiple touch points with these people, so you need to be persistent. And you might hear, no, I'm okay on the first call, but it's about picking up the phone again and building that rapport, finding a different angle. And got to be resilient. You'll be told no and no and no. There's lots of different sales jobs, but one of the ones I did before was on a auto dialer selling credit cards for a financial services organisation in Australia. You'd hear no and no and no. You was targeting on 100 calls a day, but you had to treat every single call as a new call. If you heard no, wipe it away. Right, next call, I'm going to get the sale on this one. No, okay, right, next one, I'll get the sale on this. You can't win them all the time, but there are certain strategies and techniques you can use to basically increase your conversion rate. And I can talk through them on another skills or mini episode as well. Positive attitude, number 3. Got to have a positive attitude. Even body language. If you're going into a meeting and you're fully negative, and people will be able to tell that in your body language, in your tonality. And if you're not positive, the people will be able to feed off that, and there'll be no excitement, no enthusiasm, and they won't be able to get excited or enthusiastic about something that you are trying to sell them. So you need to be positive. You need to be able to believe that you can go in and sell. And then the positive attitude that you have will rub off, because your different body language, the different language you'll be using, the positive words and the positive affirmations that you're using will be able to support your sale. Number 5, being goal oriented. That's a given. In sales, you need to have your goals, KPIs, objectives, SLAs, whatever it is that you use, OKRs. You need to have these goals. And basically, this is where you need to be, or where you want to be. And the strategy is the bit in the middle from where you are now and how you're going to get there. And you need to have goals, because having the goals means that you use metrics to be able to track where you are against these goals. Number 6, relationship building. People buy from people. Don't have to say a lot more than that, but people buy from people. Ensuring that you build relationships with people, you're building rapport, and there's various different ways that you can do that, whether it's through mirroring, body language. They say people, it's like less than 1 second for them to make first impression. So in order to be able to go in there, you need to have a lot of the things that I've already discussed. So a positive mindset, standing up tall, going into a meeting, shaking somebody's hand firmly. All of these little things add to the building of the relationship, but the use of language, tonality, mirroring, so basically mirroring in language or body language of what the other person is doing, plus various other things to be able to build a relationship. That is really, really key, because once you build that rapport and you have that relationship with somebody, they can still go elsewhere, but it's a lot harder for them to go elsewhere. Number 7, solution-oriented thinking. Like I said at the beginning of this, sales is something where you are identifying people's problems and solving them problems. So you need to be thinking about solutions all the time. If you have solutions to somebody's problems, match that together, people will buy your product or service. It is simple as that. Number 8, effective communication. There's communication and there's effective communication. You need to be able to really listen attentively, listen carefully to what the people are saying, what the challenges are, what the pain points are, but at the same time, listen to reply. You need to be able to listen to what they're saying, take on board what it is, and actually come back with suitable answers to what they're saying, so they know that they are being heard. Everybody, when they have problems, want to be heard. Number 9, time management. This is key, because in sales, time is money. If you're procrastinating and you're doing lots of other things that you should be, instead of doing what you should be doing in order to hit your goals and objectives, then you will fall short. Sales, it can be looked at as a numbers game. So you need to manage your time effectively. Make sure you're speaking to enough people as possible, following up, following back, converting your leads, moving them through the pipeline, prospecting, working on current deals, closing other deals, working on contracts, negotiating. You need to be able to make sure that you're managing your time and you've got enough balls in the air that you're juggling, that you can manage your time effectively and focus on where the wins are going to come from, as well as keeping other prospects or potential clients in that pipeline feeding through as well. And one of the final points, or the final point, number 10, one which is key, is ethical conduct. I've talked about the perception of salespeople, but always be ethical, always be honest, and always do sales with integrity. And I think I shouldn't need to say any more on that. I'm also going to leave you with a quote as well. Whether you believe you can or you can't, you're right. That was a quote by Henry Ford. You need to have belief in your ability to succeed. And if you have belief in your ability to succeed, that's probably one of the biggest hurdles. Then all you need to do is find what the right techniques, skills are to go ahead and elevate your sales and grow the revenue of your business. And if you're working in a sales organization, get into that business, put all the techniques and skills into place, and you'll see your results skyrocket.
Unbelievable! Thank you for joining us this week. We hope we added value to your day. Stay tuned and see you next time for another unbelievable episode. See you next time.